Welcome back to the Qatar Economic Forum, powered by Bloomberg. Our world is marked by the existential threat to civilization posed by climate change. Soaring temperatures, rising sea levels, raging wildfires, and widening droughts are the stuff of daily headlines. Mother Nature is taking her revenge. Reducing carbon emissions and replacing fossil fuels has become the challenge of the day. The shift to green energy is no longer an option, but an imperative. Can we buy the time needed to get there?
If you look at credible third-party analysis, all recognize the important role that gas is going to play in economies well into the future. And it goes back to critical sectors of our economy, industrial sectors, power generation sectors, that as economies grow, as the demand for electricity grows and the products that support modern life and the industrial processes that make those products, the need for energy in those sectors is going to grow. And today we don't have good low carbon solutions. And so I know ExxonMobil and many of the other panelists here are working on those technologies to help address that. But certainly gas is going to play a really important role, and I think that's broadly recognized. The challenge then is with using gas, how do you address the emissions associated with that use?
That green transition needs to be resilient, needs to focus on 1.5 degrees, and it needs to make sure it's inclusive and that people, especially young people and women, are at the center of the results that we see in that transition.
I think globalization does not need to be a zero-sum game. If I look at data in the last couple of years, the impact of contraction of global GDP has had a far lower impact on global trade than what one would have imagined. And that, I think, speaks to the fact that the fortunes of economies are still dependent on global interlinkages.
Cars are already today very much software products. You know, the lines of codes in a car are probably 10 times as many as on a smartphone, but the car really becoming probably the most sophisticated internet device you can imagine.
According to the United Nations, the population of urban areas could increase by as many as 2.5 billion additional city dwellers by 2050. To support the rapidly growing number of people on our planet, projections assume that the world will add about 200 billion square meters of building space by 2050. Such massive growth would be the equivalent of adding an entire New York City to the planet every 10 days for the next 30 years. This comes with an almost unimaginable demand for water, building materials, and energy. And of course, it goes hand in hand with immense investments in roads, railroads, airports, and power grids to make the cities viable. It is time to care about our infrastructure.